Lewis Hamilton has just made one of his most worrying statements yet since joining Ferrari, and it says everything about the nightmare he's living right now with the SF25. After another disastrous Friday at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the seven-time world champion admitted that he's struggling so badly he doesn't even know if he can make it into Q3. That's right, Hamilton, one of the greatest drivers of all time, is questioning whether he can even get the car into the top 10. This isn't just about a bad practice session. It's about a car that still isn't responding, upgrades that still aren't delivering, and a driver who's visibly frustrated and running out of answers. His comments sent a shockwave through the paddock, because if Hamilton can't figure this car out soon, the 2025 season could spiral into disaster for Ferrari. And in today's video, we're diving deep into exactly what Hamilton said, what's gone wrong with the SF25, how Ferrari is reacting behind the scenes, and whether this weekend could be the moment everything unravels or finally starts to turn around. So make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and stay with us until the very end of the video to catch every last detail. And don't forget, if you want even more F1 content, hot takes and stories the big channels won't cover, check out my second channel in the description and hit that subscribe button there too. Let's get straight into it. Practice is done in Jeddah, and it's been anything but smooth for Hamilton and Ferrari. After finishing FP1 in 8th, expectations were cautiously optimistic. But by the end of FP2, the more representative session for both qualifying and race pace, Hamilton had dropped to 13th. That's right, 13th. In a Ferrari that just weeks ago was touted as a potential title challenger. And then came the quote. When asked if he thought he could improve on Saturday, Hamilton didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't play the PR game. His response was chillingly honest. Normally Saturday goes backwards, but there's not a lot of backwards for me to go from where I am. It's the kind of line that stops you in your tracks. A seven-time world champion saying, quite literally, that things can't get worse, because he's already close to the bottom. It's raw, it's real, and it's a worrying sign for Ferrari fans who were hoping that this weekend, finally, would be the breakthrough. Let's talk about what's going wrong. First off, tyres. Hamilton was quick to point out that the main issue isn't the team, it's the car's inability to get the tyres working properly. And in Jeddah, tyre warm-up and grip are absolutely critical. The high-speed layout doesn't offer the kind of corners that naturally build temperature. You have to rely on setup, balance, and pure feel. And right now, Hamilton doesn't have it. He explained that there were moments where the car felt good, encouraging flashes of performance on the harder compounds. But as soon as he switched to the soft tyres, everything fell apart. No grip, no balance, no confidence. And in a place like Jeddah, where precision is everything, that spells disaster. What's making matters worse is that Ferrari, despite all their upgrades, still can't find the SF25's sweet spot. The new floor was supposed to help. The simulations suggested it would expand the car's operating window by up to 30%. But here in Saudi Arabia, those gains are nowhere to be seen. Hamilton and Leclerc have been running divergent setups in practice, trying to gather as much data as possible. Leclerc has been exploring one direction, Hamilton another. And now, Hamilton has admitted that it's probably time to converge, to unify the setups, and figure out what actually works. But that also means that after 5 race weekends, Ferrari still doesn't have a baseline. And for a team with championship ambitions, that's a huge concern. So what's the expectation heading into qualifying? Well, Hamilton's answer was blunt. I don't know, mate. I'm just trying to see if I can get in the top 10. Let that sink in. Lewis Hamilton, the most successful driver in Formula One history, hoping to scrape into Q3. It's a brutal reflection of how far Ferrari still has to go. Now let's zoom out for a second. Why does this matter so much? Because this isn't just about one disappointing practice session. This is about momentum, confidence, trajectory. Ferrari had a real opportunity here. Jeddah's smooth surface and low tyre wear were supposed to suit the SF25. This was their chance to show that Bahrain was just a blip, that the upgrades were working. Instead, it's been another reminder that potential means nothing without execution. And for Hamilton, the clock is ticking. He's adapting to new systems, new brakes, new electronics. But this process of reinvention can only go on for so long. At some point, the results have to match the effort. And right now, they don't. So, where does this roller coaster of a weekend truly leave Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari heading into Saturday? Honestly, this isn't just about lap times anymore. It's about trust. It's about whether the most iconic team in motorsport history can deliver on the promise they made when they signed one of the greatest drivers of all time. Right now, that promise is under serious pressure, and what happens next could define not just this race weekend, but the entire 2025 season for Ferrari. Hamilton's remarks aren't just the words of a frustrated driver, they're the voice of a champion who knows what it takes to win, and who is clearly realising that the tools he's been given so far simply aren't up to the task. He's admitted the team tends to go backwards on Saturdays. He's struggling to get the tyres to work, and even with overnight changes planned, he's openly questioning whether Q3 is even realistic. For a driver of his calibre, that's a huge statement, and a massive red flag for Ferrari. Meanwhile, the gap to Charles Leclerc continues to grow. Leclerc is dialed in. He knows this car. He's extracting everything from it. And while Hamilton is still experimenting, still adjusting to the braking systems, the engine feel, the setup tools, his teammate is building momentum. The internal team balance is already shifting, and if Ferrari aren't careful, they could be setting themselves up for an extremely uncomfortable power dynamic inside the garage. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari for midfield battles. He didn't come to scrape into the top 10. He came to fight for wins, for titles, to chase a historic 8th World Championship and cement his legacy in a red suit. But if the SF25 continues to underdeliver, if this so-called new era turns out to be just more of the same, then both the driver and the team will face questions that go far beyond one disappointing qualifying session. This is a team that hasn't won a Drivers' Championship since 2007, a team that's been through countless restructures, countless promises, and yet the story remains painfully familiar. And now, with Hamilton in the fold, expectations are sky high, and so is the pressure. Because if this project fails, it won't just be a failed season, it'll be seen as a missed opportunity of historic proportions. So now, all eyes are on Saturday. Can Ferrari finally give Hamilton a platform he can trust? Can they stop the bleeding and build some momentum before this season spirals beyond saving? Or will we be left asking, again, how such a talented team and such a legendary driver ended up on opposite sides of success? Let us know what you think in the comments. Are we watching the beginning of a brilliant comeback, or the early signs of a campaign already slipping away? Can Hamilton adapt in time, or has Ferrari already let him down? If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new here, and smash that notification bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. And if you haven't yet, check out the link in the description to my second F1 channel, where I'm posting even more deep dives and behind-the-scenes content throughout the 2025 season. Because what's happening with Hamilton and Ferrari right now isn't just a story, it's a turning point, and whether it ends in glory or collapse, we're going to cover every second of it. Stay tuned.